Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with Ron Placone and the miserable liberal. George Bush went on the Matt Lauer show, and they asked him, so he's being propped up as the good Republican, as opposed to the bad Republican, which is Donnie Tanahan's Trump. And so that's what this is. This is really creepy and weird. And then they ask him about how respectful George Bush is to Muslims. Ready?
And you said this: I also want to speak tonight directly to Muslims throughout the world. We respect your faith. It's practiced freely by many millions of Americans and by millions more in countries that America counts as friends. Its teachings are good and peaceful. That's very different talk than what we're hearing today about a Muslim ban. Do you think the president's position on this has been well thought out?
Well, I'll tell you, I certainly did say that stuff, and I don't know if you remember, I went on to fucking slaughter a bunch of Muslims. I went on to lie about weapons of mass destruction so I could get the strongest and greatest and most well-funded military in the world to go blow the shit out of those people. And we've been killing them ever since. Do you notice that? Remember the nice things I said? And then I bombed them. I killed millions of them. Killed them. Tortured them. Built a torture facility in Cuba. It's still there. That's how strong my legacy is. It lasted through 8 years of Barack Obama, a torture facility I built in Cuba. Isn't that nice? So yeah, I said those nice things, and then I fucking murdered them.
But you guys forgot about all that because after I got out of office, you guys suffer from amnesia, and I started a fun paint-by-numbers career.
There was also a moment at the very beginning where Matt Lauer is quoting him, and you see President Bush at that moment going, oh, shit, what did I say?
Yeah, what'd I say? What'd I say about Muslims? So, yeah, he said the nice things, and then he bombed the shit out of them. Let's hear what he says.
I think it's very important for all of us to recognize one of our great strengths is for people to be able to worship the way they want to or not worship at all. I mean, the bedrock of our freedom, a bedrock of our freedom is the right to worship freely. And you see, I understood right off the bat, Matt, that this was an ideological conflict, and people who murder the innocent are not religious people.
Speaking from experience.
And, I murdered lots of innocent people. I had innocent people murdered in electric chairs and stuff in Texas. I killed people. And I had a born-again Christian woman killed, too. I had her put to death. It was something. Anyway, I have to kill a lot of people. This is that stuff, right? This is that stuff that the alt-right does, too, where they go, oh, Muslims are bad because they kill for religion, but we could go wipe out 1 million fucking people, no problem. And we didn't do it for religion, so it's okay, even though he said he did it for religion, but we were just wrong. We thought we were doing a nice thing by killing those people in Iraq. We thought we were doing a nicey. It turns out wrong, and now we set the whole Middle East on fire, and we're sorry, but we're still not as bad as those motherfuckers that we killed. Anyway, hey, has he got anything else to say?
They want to advance an ideology, and we have faced those kind of ideologues in the past.
But by banning people from 7 predominantly Muslim countries from entering this country, do we make it easier or harder to fight the war on terrorism?
You know what makes it harder to fight the war on terrorism, Matt? Not banning immigrants at JFK, but killing Muslims in Iraq, Libya, Syria, Afghanistan, Somalia, Yemen. That might make it a little harder. Again, he's focusing on the fucking travel ban. This is a guy who set the Middle East on fucking fire! He set the Middle East on fire! Ordered torture and war crimes to cover it up. And it's like, yeah, but isn't a travel ban, isn't that tacky? Isn't a travel ban bad? That's bad, though, right? I mean, you led us into an illegal war and, had hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people killed or whatever. And you started all this stuff and you created the terrorists and ISIS and Al Qaeda. Anyway, but isn't that travel ban something? Isn't this crazy? Am I out of my mind? This is fucking nuts.
Well, see, I actually think the craziest thing that he said so far was bringing up the war on terror again. Haven't we learned by now that having a vaguely defined war that's unwinnable is a shitty idea? Haven't we learned that by now? And he's still bringing it up as if it's a good pursuit.
Yeah, this is a thing we just do as a natural part of life. We have a war on terror. Just like, just kind of like, Orwell said. We have an endless war for endless peace. It's endless now. There will always be terrorists. We'll always have a need to have a bloated military budget. We can't have free college and health care, but we can spend more money on the military than the next 13 countries combined.
Am I the only one now that can't stand? And I would go as far as saying I hate Matt Lauer now, because this particular interview is propping up President Bush as if he's some sort of sage.
Like, he's the sane guy. He's the normal Republican, but Trump with the travel ban. I mean, you just invaded Iraq and murdered a bunch of people, but you didn't do a travel ban, right? Mm-hmm. What the fuck? Mm-hmm. This is really happening. Mm-hmm. Matt Lauer's really doing, again, this is called manufacturing consent. The story the establishment is pushing is that Trump is a different kind of bad. And these things are special bad. The other things like, endless wars, whatever our military-industrial complex, Wall Street, and the pharmaceutical industry, whatever they want is okay. But Trump wants a travel ban. No one wants that. That's bad for business. That's bad for business.
And look how reasonable President Bush is.
Oh, very reasonable.
He's reasonable. He's nice. He's kind-hearted. He's accepting of diverse beliefs in religion or not. You don't even have to believe. But by the way, if you have oil, and
you're a poor country, we're going to invade you.
Because that's the Christian thing to do.
That's what Christians would do.
Well, I think it's very hard to fight the war on terrorism if we're in retreat. And I think we learned that lesson, that, if the United States decides...
We learned that lesson? What lesson did we learn? Did you hear the lesson he learned is to not retreat? That's the lesson he learned from Iraq and killing millions of people. Innocent babies, grandparents, single people, women, grandmothers, the handicapped. He killed them all. Deaf, blind. He killed them. That's who gets killed in wars. He killed them over a lie, and he wasn't fighting terrorism, and we all know it. This is unbelievable. This is happening. This is, I don't know, are your minds as blown as my mind is? Because my mind is blown.
There's no such thing as a retreat when we haven't even declared war on these countries. We've invaded them and we've destroyed them. But somehow our idea of taking our troops out of the Middle East is looked down upon.
Yeah,
this is horrible.
We learned what happens when you do that. And Matt Lauer, let's just go right past him. This is great journalism, Matt. Matt Lauer, $25 million a year. So Matt Lauer, I'm going to guess, makes $100,000 a day. He got paid $100,000 to do this interview.
That's why it's so hard hitting.
That's why he gets paid $500,000 a week. A week.
Not one gotcha question.
A week to do this kind of journalism. But they don't have money to send a reporter to North Dakota. Just remember that. They don't have money to send a reporter to Syria. They don't have that kind of money. That costs. Okay.
To pull out before a free society emerges, it's going to be hard to defeat them. The enemy is very good about exploiting weakness. It's going to be very important, if that's the goal, to defeat ISIS, which I believe it should be, that we project strength. Now, whether or not the domestic politics plays helps them or not,
Just want to make sure I understand. You for or against the ban? You're against the ban?
I am for an immigration policy that's welcoming and that upholds the law.
So that's courageous. What a profile of courage there, huh? Wouldn't answer that question?
Wow.
Wouldn't answer that question. There's your good Republican. That's your good Republican.
That's the reasonable guy that invaded countries that did nothing to us because God told him to.
That's what they're doing now. They're holding up a guy who invaded other countries poorer than us with, so we could murder a million people, let's say.
He's the president, I believe, when we entered into these wars, told me to go shop.
Yeah, that's right. Go shop and go to your places of destination. Go to your many points of destination.
Go to Disneyland.
There's your This is our leader. That was our leader, and this is and that's our news journalist guy. $25 million a year, right there, Matt Lauer. You couldn't do a worse job if you were trying. Hey, the next live Jimmy Dore show is March 4th. That's a Saturday. Get your tickets right below. The next one after that is March 20th. The shows sell out really fast, so get your tickets right now. Links right there.